sis. Welcome to Church Girl Chats, the podcast where faith meets real life. I'm so excited that you're here. This is a space for Christian women who are navigating faith, culture, and the beautiful and sometimes messy journey of modern life. Whether you're a seasoned saint, a new believer, or somewhere in between, this podcast is for you. Here, we're diving into the conversations that matter most, from growing in your walk with God to balancing relationships, health, wealth, purpose, and all of the things that come with being a church girl in today's world. So grab your tea, your coffee, or whatever keeps you going, and let's get into it. This isn't just a podcast. It's a community, a sisterhood, and a place where we can keep it real, keep it kingdom, and keep growing together. Let's chat.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. I hope you all are warm wherever you are. It is so good to be back. This is my first time back after coming out of consecration. Actually, I came back on social media yesterday, but this is the first podcast since we are back. So glad to be here. Thank you all for joining. I wanted to jump into some really good topics on tonight. One of the guests that was going to be talking about our money talk, getting our wealth all the way together. She had a death in the family. So I'm going to ask everyone to be praying for her. Kathleen Franklin, be praying for her, be praying for her family as they go through this time of bereavement. But I didn't want to cancel. I wanted to jump on here anyway. Got to get back in the swing of things. But I also wanted to get on here and just talk about some money mindsets. Hey, Lady Sylvia, thanks so much for joining. Some money mindsets that we have that I think that will help us get prepared and get ready for that conversation. We're in the process of trying to reschedule it. So excited about that. But as you go ahead and join, I'm going to ask you to like this and to share it. If you are on Facebook, I'm going to ask you to share it. If you are on YouTube watching us, I'm going to ask you to like it and to subscribe to our new channel, Church Girl Nation. If you're on Facebook and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'm going to ask you to do that. Want to start pouring a lot more content around church, around culture, around how we as women navigate all the things that we go through in life. So I want you to go ahead and subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. Hey Val, thanks so much for joining. Thank you for sharing as well. So I wanted to jump into the topic of money, how we deal with money. How our mindsets are about money. And I wanted to share just a little bit of my journey of how I think about money. What I have learned and what I know is that usually in your formative years, the persons that introduce you to a concept or an idea, you usually hold on to that. And sometimes it's a little difficult to break away from what you've learned traditionally about any subject, any title. And so I know for me, when I was young, my family could tell you I didn't have any money blocks. None, saints of God, none. At all. I think that's the way for most of us. When we're young, we don't have money blocks. We don't think that there is gatekeeping to money. We don't think that there are methodologies and systems that make money mysterious, or that there is a lack of money for certain people groups, lack of money in certain areas, because there is no lack of money. Be clear, money is in abundance. But sometimes because of greed and because of people, there seems to be silos of places where money isn't as readily available. And a lot of times we don't talk about money. Either in our households, we don't talk about money. And even in our churches, money is almost like this taboo topic. We don't want to talk about money. Woo, we'll talk about everything. We'll want more of it, but we don't want to talk about it. And so I wanted to discuss some of those things, or those habits, or things that we think about, or when we are talking about money. So one of the questions I wanted to ask was, how did you learn about money? What was your first recollection of money? I can remember when we were kids, we'd be going to the store, and y'all know how kids are. When we're in the store, we see everything that we want. Oh, mommy, give me this. Mommy, buy me that. Mommy, give me this. And I can remember one instance, we were somewhere, I think we were in the grocery store, and we wanted something. And so we were asking our mom to buy it, and she was like, I don't have money for that. And we was like, well, just write a check. The naivete of children not understanding anything about money. And so I believe it was probably in my late teens, when I actually start having real conversations with my dad, and especially my granddad, about money. And so, because there wasn't a whole lot of talk about money, what money is, what money does, the purpose of money, all of that, I had a warped idea of money. Then add to that, growing up in a Pentecostal church where they didn't preach that it was the love of money that was the root of all evil. It was money. It was the root of all evil. And so growing up in an environment where having money wasn't embraced, it was almost frowned upon, looked down upon. If you even said you wanted to have money, or that you wanted to have wealth, that was not a thing in the Pentecostal church, that you could say out loud that you desire, without having people side eye you, or having people almost tell you that you are wrong, or that kind of thing. And so that was some of my thoughts about money. So y'all let me know in the comments, how did you learn about money? What was your first knowledge of money? How did you learn that money was a thing that you either wanted, that you didn't want, that was good, or that was bad? What was that introduction like? Was money good? A thing that you desired, or you think that was taught as something that was good in your house, in your church? Or was it taught that it was something that wasn't good, something that wasn't necessary? Money don't grow on trees, the whole thing. Let me know in the comments what that was like for you growing up. Because I know several years ago, when God was starting to deal with me about my mindset on money, there were so many things that I didn't realize. There were so many money blocks that I had, y'all, that I was not even aware of. In my mind, I wanted money, but there were mindsets that was repelling it that I didn't even know about. And so I kind of want to talk about some of those things. And after, and let me say this, we're going to go through 5 different erroneous money mindsets that I had. And then we're going to come around from that, and then we're going to offer a prayer about that. And so I'm going to pull up a prayer that we're going to be praying. So when I say that I had an erroneous money mindset, it was almost like I had a fear of money, that I was afraid of money, afraid that if I had a lot of it, that it would change who I was. If I didn't have enough of it, it would change who I was. And so there was this fear surrounding money, what I thought about it, how I wanted to maneuver in it. And so one of the prayers that I want us to pray on today is about how we view money, what we think about money. And so I'm going to put up one of the prayers that I want us to pray on today, and to be believing and trusting God for. And so that first prayer says, let me pull it up. It simply says, Dear Lord, deliver me from the fear of prosperity. Help me to not self-sabotage the many ways you are trying to get money to me. Lord, help me to not be afraid of money. Help me to see money as a resource. Help me not be afraid of the many opportunities that you have to bring wealth to me. And here's one of the things. One of the things that I had to really pray through, and I'm still praying through, is a lot of times God would send opportunities to me. A lot of times we're asking God for money and we think it's going to be a physical thing, but often it is He'll send you opportunities. And so there would be times in my life where God would send me opportunities, but I would push the opportunities away because I had fear. There was so much fear around the opportunity, or I wasn't ready, or I didn't know enough, or all these other things that got in the way of me receiving abundance, receiving wealth, or just receiving a blessing. And so one of those prayers I had to start praying was like, Lord, help me get out of my own way. Help me not be in my own way. Help me stop sabotaging the blessings, the income streams that you bring my way. Help me stop downplaying who you have called me to be because I'm afraid, that who I am won't be enough. And so praying through those mind shifts and those ways that was stopping money or the flow of money from coming to me. And so one of the other questions I wanted to ask about is, hey, Lady Ann, thanks so much for joining. Feel free to like and to share. The next thing I want to talk about, and the next thing that God dealt with me was on how the flow of money through my hands. And so my question is, do you hoard money or do you give it freely? What I thought I was generous as far as giving. And as I looked back over my life, as God was dealing with me about my whole money mindset and trying to break through some money blocks that I had, he was like, Cheryl, what you do is when you have a lot of money, you give freely. But anytime your coffers get small, you get stingy because you are afraid that there won't be more. When money is flowing, you are generous with your gifts. But when money gets tight, you're like, no, sir, I will not be giving to you. I have to pull back. And he says, one of the things I have to break from you is your self-reliance, is you thinking, you operating as if you are the source, as if it depends on you solely whether or not you have wealth. You don't trust that I will meet your needs. You don't trust that if your money is low, if I put a person in your life and I tell you to sow into them, that I will give that back to you with interest. You think that you control the flow of money in your life by hoarding and holding. But how you really control the flow of money in your life is by opening up and giving freely. The Bible says that the liberal soul shall be made fat. The person that gives will be given more. That person will never run out. Give, and it shall be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will he cause men, other people, to give to me. And so I had to learn how to stop hoarding, and I had to learn how to start trusting God that even in lean seasons, if I was still generous, God will still take care of me. That he wouldn't let me go lacking even when I was in a lean season, if he told me to give to someone, or if he asked me to bless someone. And so this prayer that I wanted to pray behind that was, it says, Dear Lord, teach me how to give lavishly without fear. Help me to not get in the way of my own financial breakthrough. Help me to realize that giving is the avenue to abundance. And that was something that I didn't really realize. You hear all those scriptures that I just quoted, but I never knew that that was the key to abundance, was a liberal soul, a giving heart, someone that gave because God told them to, that gave because there was a need, trusting that God would return, that God would repay. He's not going to let you give and him not repay that gift. And so that's something that I had to learn. And y'all, I am still learning how to be lavish in my giving, how not to be stingy, how to trust that if God has asked me to bless someone, and this may not even be sowing money, but it may be sowing my time, sowing my intellect, sowing my knowledge about something, showing my wisdom about something. But the more that I was able to do that, the more that I did that freely, not of compulsion, not because someone made me give it, but I gave it freely. The more freely I give, the more freely God will give to me, and he will cause men to give into my bosom. So that was the third thing. The next one was fear. Um, in the church I grew up, I told y'all, it didn't seem like having a lot of money was really a good thing. People would kind of not question you, but it was good to be to have enough, but to have like more than enough, and not like this is enough and like you got like this is enough and this is more than enough. But if you had more than enough, it was kind of like, and even as we look out on the landscape today, there seems to be no group of people that have a problem with wealth other than church people, other than believers. We don't mind everybody else in the world being wealthy, whether they're entertainers, whether they are sports figures, whether they are doctors, attorneys. We don't mind all of those people having wealth. But don't let a preacher have wealth. Don't let a minister have wealth. Don't let good deacon have wealth. Don't let members in the body have good wealth. Then there's always these questions. Well, why do they have wealth? Why not? If God is our Father and He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, He is the creator of the universe. Why is it always looked down upon when we have wealth? And so I found myself afraid to even say in my early years that I wanted great wealth. But God had to start changing me or changing my mindset about how I viewed money, how I viewed great wealth, and then asking me why I wanted it. Well, did I want it to say I got great wealth? Did I want it to be able to floss? Look at this Benz, look at this, whatever. So the reasoning behind that. So we cannot fear the thing that we want. And so God had to arrest me. He said, you say you want wealth. You say you want, all these income streams. You want 7 income streams and all of this, but you're afraid to ask for it. And I want my business owners to hear this. Hey, Marie, thanks so much for joining. I want my business owners to hear this because this has kept me, I think, bound in so many reasons, even as a Christian business owner. A lot of times I would be afraid to tell people my price for things, or I would be afraid to market price for things because the saints gonna say, oh Lord, I can't believe you charging this for that. But you will go to somebody else that's not offering the same service and have no problem paying it. But because I am a believer and because I had so many money blocks, I was afraid to even ask you to buy it. And so I would give stuff away all the time, stuff that had taken me years to learn, stuff that I had to pay to get produced, stuff that I had to pay to get packaged, that I was offering and selling for basically nothing because I had such a bad mindset about money that the avenues that God gave me to make money, I was afraid to use those avenues for fear of what people would say. What do you mean that course is $200? Somebody else is offering the same thing that I'm giving y'all for $1,000. But I won't charge $1,000 because I'm afraid of what you will say about $1,000 price tag, but you fussing about $200. So I'm like, ooh, well, maybe I should charge $50 for it because they tripping. So God had to start realigning my mindset. Said, if I give you a business idea to help you create wealth, because I trust that the wealth that I give you, you're going to use it righteously, charge what it costs. Charge what it costs. Because the same person that won't pay you $200 for the service is going to pay someone else $1,000 for the service and think nothing about it. And so God had to start changing how I thought about money, how I thought about pricing, so that I could be effective in what he called me to do, so that I could live off of the gifts, the talents, the skills that he'd given me. And so that as a business, that I could price effectively and correctly without fearing backlash from other people. So fear was something that I really, really had to work through. And to be honest, I'm still working through it, because the saints of God be tripping. But we are praying through that, and God is working on me and helping me. And so a prayer that I want us to pray over that just simply says, Dear Lord, deliver me from the fear of money. Help me to erase from my heart and my soul money mindsets that don't serve you or advance your kingdom agenda for me. And here's the thing. Y'all see the season that we are living in. Kingdom-minded entrepreneurs, kingdom-minded businessmen and women, kingdom-minded churches need money. The government ain't gonna help y'all. They slashing things left and right. I just saw somewhere where that the prescription advantages that were under one administration are now gone under the other administration. And so overnight, people's medicines went from $40 to $400. Who's going to help them, y'all? We have to be in a position to be able to bridge the gap that is there. And so, kingdom people, we have to have money. And God has to position people that will deal righteously with money, that will deal truthfully with money, that won't do usury, but that will deal well with people. And so we need you all to have money. We need you all to have wealth. We need people in the kingdom who are wealthy. And I don't mean you're making a 6-figure a year job. I mean we need kingdom millionaires. We need kingdom billionaires, so that when things go awry, somebody got some money to help. Somebody has money to bridge the gap, so that somebody has resources when y'all are okay. We need money. I was about to go somewhere else, but we need people in the kingdom to have great wealth, people that will deal righteously with money. And so the last thing that I want to talk about, and let me make sure, is this. Who are you modeling your money life after? I know originally or years ago, I would look at certain people and say, I want my life to look like this, or I want to be able to do what they do, or I want to gain wealth in a certain fashion. And so I would model my business after a person that I admire, or a mentor, or someone else. And God had to correct me, and he had to say, did you ask me for the roadmap for your financial future? Did you go to the word and find out what I say about money, what I say about finances? And did you in prayer ask me, God, show me my wealthy place. Show me what you want me to do to get there. Show me the avenue for me. And now I'm not saying that there aren't people in your life, mentors, because I believe everyone needs a financial mentor. Everyone needs a spiritual mentor. Everyone needs a business mentor. So I'm not saying that you won't have mentors that are where you want to be, that won't be able to coach you, but you will not be able to mimic. Don't try to mimic somebody else's lifestyle. I want you to be able to go to God with the word and in prayer and ask him, show me where I fit. Show me my place. Illuminate that place to me and help me walk in it. Whether that is a traditional job, whether that is a business, whether that is a side hustle, whatever that is, or whether that's all those things rolled up into one. Maybe it's all of the things. Lord, show me the roadmap for me. And our final prayer for that is, dear Lord, show me my money roadmap. Help me to focus solely with tunnel vision on the wealth pathway you've mapped out and created just for me. Then help me to courageously walk in it Amen. And now, if you're like me, and I have so many friends, we're the same, where you're multi-gifted, you're multi-talented, and sometimes you're all over the place. You're doing this and you're doing that. One of my prayers for this year is clarity. God, give me clarity, not for the lifetime of my purpose, but for this year. Because for so often I wanted to know the lifetime of my purpose. What am I here to do on the earth? So what am I here to do this year, Lord? What do you have in store for me this year? Yes, maybe I'll have a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year plan. But on this year, what is my money roadmap for this year? Lord, help us to be super specific, and be super specific with us about what you have in store for us right now. Where do you want me right now, Lord? What do you want me doing right now? Help me to get in place doing what you said. Help me not to give you a list of my plans and ask you to bless it. Help me to see the flow of where you're going and me to get in line. I'm going to say that again. Lord, help me to see the flow of where you are and where you are going, and just to get in line so that I am following you, because provision comes when I am following you and I am doing what you say to do. Yes, Val, what am I supposed to be doing this year? I don't want to go past this year. I'm not trying to look into 2026. Yes, I'm this year, like right now, so that the next 11 and a half months I can plot and plan this year, and I can walk it out. I hope you all have enjoyed just that little snippet of money mindsets. I hope it made you think a little bit. I know that God has really, really been working with me and dealing with me on how to see his vision for my life in all aspects of my life. He's breaking down money blocks and money barriers, so that he can get wealth through me. Because before, it would have been just getting wealth to me. But he's showing me all the more that he just wants me to be a conduit that he can get wealth through. Now, some of that, y'all know that even when there is a conduit that you run either water through, that you run oil through, or whatever, that some of the oil, some of the water that goes through the conduit always stays inside of the vessel. So if God can get money through you, some of that money deposited is going to stay in you and with you. But you have to be a resource for the source to get the money through. So I pray that this has been a blessing to you. Also want to let you know, all of the prayers and the concepts that I talked about on tonight is in an ebook that I wrote several years ago, and it was called Millionaire Mindset. And God has me going back to that, reading through that, and praying those prayers that I prayed with you on tonight. And so that ebook is only $7.99. If you want to get that, I'll go ahead and drop it in here. This is the book is called Millionaire Mindset, and it is 30 days of getting your mind right, getting the biblical concept of money, breaking down mindsets, breaking down money blocks, getting the mind shift so that you can be a kingdom financier, that you can be one of the people that God distributes wealth through. And so, like again, I said, the ebook is $7.99. I will drop the link. The link is on the screen here, but I also drop it in the comments. Let me do that now. Okay, hold on, let me spell it right. Okay, and it is bit.ly/getting a millionaire mindset. I just dropped it into YouTube. Let me go ahead and, while I am here, drop it into Facebook as well. Give me just a second. I want to make sure you get this, because what I would really love to see is the body of Christ really, really shine through and really, and I want to say this correctly, really take our place. in the kingdom. And so that's one of my prayers, is that the kingdoms of our world will become the kingdoms of Christ, of God, and of his Christ. Hey, Fontella, thanks so much for joining. And so I'll drop that in the comments as well. Let me do that really quickly. All right, hold up just a sec. I'm trying to drop it in Facebook as well. Okay, I think I just dropped it into Facebook as well. Let me know if you all see that. But I want us to have the tools that are necessary, which is one of the reasons I'm so glad that we're going to have Catherine on as well. She is a financial guru. And so she's going to come and give us practical tips and tools to get our whole money game together, to get our wealth together this year. But before she came, I wanted to just drop in and talk about getting our mindsets, because our minds have to be right, because she can give us all the tools that she wants to give us. If we don't have our minds right, we still won't be able to implement. And so we have to get our minds right, ready and right, so that when she comes with all the tools and the resources about how to do that, our minds will already be set and ready to receive what she has to say and to act. That's the thing, to act on some of the things that she's going to be sharing with us. So I wanted to do one last thing. I am so excited, y'all. On next week, we're going to have Lady Erica Reed. We're going to be talking about getting our health all the way together. I have been on a journey trying to be more healthy, eat more healthy, learning the nutrients that are good, learning the foods that I should and should not be eating. So she's going to be with us on next Tuesday night at 7, talking all things health. You know, how do we need to, our bodies are the temple of God. And so how we treat them, how we feed them matters. And so I want you all to be sure to come back on next week and join us as she's going to be sharing with us. She has a wealth of knowledge. I'm so excited to have her on next week. Listen, I love you all with the love of the Lord. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this cold, y'all, it's cold in Florida, on this cold Tuesday night. I pray the blessings of the Lord over your money, over your finances, over your business, over your jobs, over your desires, and the things that you want to accomplish this year. I pray that he blows his breath on it and takes it further and farther than you ever thought that it could, and that he would blow your mind in this year. I love you all, and we'll look to see you all next week.
Thanks so much for joining me on this week's episode of Church Girl Chats. I hope this conversation blessed you, challenged you, or gave you something to think about as you walk out this kingdom life. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't keep it to yourself, sis. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a chat. And don't forget to spread the word. Share this with a friend, your sister, or your church group. Let's keep building this amazing community together. I can't wait to chat with you again next week. Until then, stay blessed, stay faithful, and remember, God's got you, sis.